This happened in the early 1990s, and it was deep in the woods of Vermont. It was not a town, and it was not even a village, so there were only trees and old trails on one single cabin that belonged to my uncle. I stayed there for one weekend and just one, but that was enough because there was something out there and it knew exactly where I was. I had just turned 23, so I wanted to get away, and that meant no phones and no people and only silence. My uncle's old hunting cabin was perfect because it had no electricity and no plumbing, so it only had a wood stove and an oil lamp and one rusty cot. It sat about 3 miles off the nearest road, and it was surrounded by nothing except thick old pine trees. My uncle had not used the place in years, and he warned me that it was creepy quiet out there. I laughed because that was exactly what I wanted. The first night was peaceful, so I chopped firewood and I lit the stove, and I made instant soup using a portable burner. I stayed up while reading by the lantern. Around 3 in the morning, I noticed something strange because through the cabin window, I saw a faint light, and it was flickering through the trees. It was far away and maybe a quarter mile off, yet it moved like someone walking with a lantern. I figured it was a hunter or some camper, so I locked the door before I went to sleep, just in case. The second night, the light came back. It showed up again just after 3, and it came from the same direction, and it moved with the same flickering pattern. But this time, it came closer. I stood at the window, and I squinted because there were no trails and no roads in that direction. The way it moved was strange since it was slow, and it weaved between trees, so it did not look natural. It looked like it floated. I turned off the lantern and I waited. On the third night, I did not sleep at all because it rained harder and the wind howled. At exactly 3:08, I saw the light again, but this time it was not flickering because it stayed steady, and it was just outside the cabin, and it was behind the trees. I should have felt scared, but instead, I felt something worse. It was the kind of stillness you never forget because the whole forest was holding its breath. Then I saw it. A figure. It did not move, and it only stood behind the tree line. The light was hanging behind it, so I could not see its face. I did not breathe, and I did not blink. It did not move, and then it vanished. The light blinked out, and there were no footsteps and no sound, so there was only silence. By morning, I packed my things and I hiked out. I did not eat breakfast, and I did not stop, and I did not look back. When I told my uncle, he went quiet. Then he said that I saw it too. He never stayed in that cabin again, and neither did I. I do not know who or what that figure was. I do not know why it came, but I do know this. Every night since then, I wake up around 3:08. I look out my window, and sometimes I wonder if it followed me home